Greetings, gamers. Well, it's a great time to be a fan of pinball, as two companies, Zen Studios and Farsight Studios, are waging an all-out war across all current gen consoles and handhelds to become your favorite pinball sim and to get the throne in the world of video game pinball. Today, we are going to take a look at what both games have to offer, talk a little bit about them, and see which one comes out on top. Here next on Game Time. Alright everyone, while we search for our game here, I just want to take a very quick moment to remind everyone, if you kind of like what you see, or even if you don't, check out our other playlists that are on my main YouTube page. We have, I kind of did them a little bit in categories, where we have like an Atari playlist, Nintendo, Sega, PlayStation, etc. Playlist, and for mobile gaming, that as well. And if you like what you see, definitely subscribe if you like. I don't personally care. I don't really do it for the subscriptions, mostly because I'm bored. And I love sharing my fondness of gaming and geek culture with like-minded individuals. So that's more important to me than anything. Our first of two games, we're going to take just a very brief look at both of these pinball games. Zen Pinball 2 is first up. And as you can see here, it's a very nice selection of tables right off the bat. If you noticed anything in the intro or whatever, you know I'm a huge Iron Man fan, so I definitely like these Marvel tables. However, though, I'm kind of disappointed. Zen really went off and did a crap ton of these Marvel tables. I actually, some I don't have. I have the Avengers one on my tablet, and that's pretty cool. I really like playing as that one. But I think some of Zen's best tables are their unique ones, kind of like El Dorado or Tesla, Excalibur, Sorcerer's Lair is a fantastic one, Paranormal, Epic Quest is great. I think their original tables are the best. Not that their Marvel ones are bad, but Marvel ones are a little bit too arcadey at times. And they just recently did Star Wars. These are just brand new. I have yet to actually play any of these, but we'll do a future review on the Star Wars pinball. You can be sure of that. So let's take a look. I did mention how good Excalibur was. So let's see that one in action. We'll probably take a look at briefly here two tables from each pinball game. We'll do Excalibur, and maybe like Paranormal, I think, is a great table as well. If you can hear the music, I'll shut up just for a second. You can hear how awesome the music is. Here, let me turn the stereo up. Very nice soundtrack to all these tables. Alright, sorry, now I had to turn the volume down. As you can tell right off the bat, these tables are very arcade-like with the scores, how they just kind of pop up when you hit something just like that. Takes away the realism a little bit with some of these moving figures that you'll see. Not that that's a huge deal. I kind of even like some of the arcadiness, if you will, if that's even a word, on these tables. They're pretty neat. Ball physics very, very nice. This game's a little bit more generous than I think the Pinball Arcade. What the Pinball Arcade does is they go for realism, ball physics, and because they're based on real-world tables. It's very authentic and sometimes gets to be a little tricky. I wasn't paying attention with that, but that's alright. So at least with Zen Pinball, you can definitely rack up a really good high score and keep going and going. Whereas on the next game we'll show you in just a moment, it's a little bit more trickier. So that's kind of the Zen Pinball. We can hit the pause menu and take a look at all the stuff here. Can do operators menu, table guide. This is very nice. It kind of shows you a lot of what the objectives are, kind of like where to go, because of course each good pinball table tells a great story. And then my advice is, if you're always lost, whether on actual real world tables or video game tables, kind of always follow where the lights go. They kind of point you, whatever's lit up will point you in the right direction. So let's see one more table here real quick before we move on to the Pinball Arcade. Marvel Pinball used to be separate from Zen Pinball here on the PS3, although on the Xbox 360 it's Pinball Effects 2, I think, and all the tables are kept together. So we finally got that here on the PlayStation side of things. So let's take a look at Paranormal here just for a moment or two, see it in action as well. Once again, the music and soundtrack I really, really enjoy in Zen Pinball. I wish I could find the actual original soundtrack somewhere. I would love to download them just to listen to on my own. Here, I'll shut up once again just for a moment here. You can hear the great music and sound effects. Very moody, I think. I think this table is very moody, and one of my favorites as well. I'm going to try to get up to the mansion that's upstairs here, just hopefully rather quick. Be a little cautious. Here we go, and this is definitely a rare feature, this vertical thing here. You had to try to knock out, hit all the switches to turn off the lights here. Part of this objective. Very tricky because it's just a straight vertical. Oh crap. Definitely would really, really love to see this on actual pinball tables. Oh, we didn't do terribly good, but that is alright. But yes, basically, in a nutshell, this is the Paranormal table. Definitely a favorite of mine. Definitely recommended. I love it so much. I do have this one on the tablet as well. So, ball is lost, but that's alright because we needed to quit anyway. So, let's take a brief time out here. We'll save the game. Actually got off to a pretty good start. I'm pleased. I kind of wish I could continue that one. But we are going to be seeing the Pinball Arcade now, whereas Zen was, Zen makes their own tables, definitely have a license to do Disney, Star Wars, Marvel, of course. And it's cool. I mean, I like that. That's awesome. The Pinball Arcade, however, takes a little bit of a different route. They are more authentic. With their pinball recreations. These tables exist in the real world. If you like medieval madness, because I've seen that at our local arcade here in the city, definitely enjoy playing that. I have it purchased here on the Pinball Arcade, and it's amazing how detailed and detailed recreated they made that. So. This is a Pinball Arcade. They recently did an update as well. It kind of changed up their menu. This whole new menu screen is very new. Now what you can do, you can take a look at what tables you currently have, And up until a certain point, I actually did purchase them all the time. You start off essentially with a 4-pack, Ripley's Believe It or Not, Arabian Nights, Theater Magic, and Black Hole. All are sort of the starter set, $9.99 for those 4. And what this Pinball Arcade does is they give you sort of 2-packs. You can purchase 2 packs of tables for $4.99, $5 if you will. And they've done a few great packs already. Elvira, Funhouse. So there's the Medieval Madness I was mentioning earlier. So, and we can go back and we can take a look at tables. The new tables icon, which is not lit, is where you can go to purchase the tables you don't have. I was seeing why I can't see them yet, because I definitely know there are probably at least 10 tables I don't have. But let's see just the difference in the pinball mechanics between both games. We've seen Zen in action in its more arcadey one. Let's do well, Theater Magic's definitely a highlight, and once again, I really like the music that's recreated in these pinball games. So here's a nice overview. Game setup, just show you some of the options. Kind of can choose how many players you want. Table menu shows you your high scores there. Some of your extras include the history of the table, which is kind of nice. You can read just a brief history flyer. You can show the original advertisement for these custom ball. Oops. And the standard goals, these are sort of the achievements that you need to earn some trophies here on the PS3 version. Achievements on the 360. Earn an extra ball is all we have yet to do here on this particular table. So let's see the game in action.
Welcome to the Theater of Magic.
Definitely a big difference in presentation as well. Might have to change the camera's just good.
This ball is full of magic. The first ball is
You
lost.
can see the dot matrix in the upper left-hand corner. Recreated from the actual table. There's ball 2 left. Very nice. Like I said, this is definitely a lot more authentic than Zen Pinball. It's not. This is a lot more challenging, which both good and bad. I have my camera angle set sort of this view, but when it goes into the upper half of the table, it zooms in like we just saw there. That's kind of how I prefer my camera angle. So that's Theater of Magic, definitely a highlight from the starter set. So let's pause and let's take a look at one last pinball game. Should probably just kind of choose one at random. Medieval Madness, very good. Being the Halloween fan I said I was earlier, I think we should do Monster Bash. Once again, with both Zen Pinball and the Pinball Arcade that we see here, purchasing them on your PS3 also entitles you to play them on your PS Vita. And right away when I got my Vita, I was very happy because I had both these games purchased previously. So, you know, the very first night I got it, I spent quite a bit of time downloading several games that I've had on PS3 with Vita capability, and these 2 games definitely are one. Too much talking and not enough paying attention to what's going on, but poor excuse, Kyle. However, once again, the Pinball Arcade, it's definitely more challenging. Man, it's hard to get something going on this particular round. Once again, very authentic sounds recreated in these tables. And again, the music is just great.
Hey Doc, this one has nice skin.
Well, a little quicker as well. It's definitely a quicker paced pinball game, and the pinballs themselves definitely for some reason feel heavy. Like they don't fly around all over the place like in Zen. So alright. So we'll quit here while we're ahead. We weren't off to a great start anyway. So we'll exit the game. Save progress, and now they officially added some tournaments and stuff, so definitely pick up a lot of tables and practice up and participate in some tournaments. So, alright, final thoughts here in our last minute on Game Time. So, we got to see the more arcadey, fun, light, fast-paced Zen Pinball, and we got to see the authentically recreated realism of the Pinball Arcade. So, which one's better? Really, you can't go wrong with either one. I know that's a cop-out answer, but I'm just a huge pinball fan, and having both is an ultimate win. I originally started off with just Zen Pinball, the original one, and that was my favorite. It remains one of my favorite downloads I have ever downloaded onto the PS3. And Pinball Arcade, when I first tried it out, I wasn't a huge fan of it because it was a lot more challenging. But I, over time, grown to enjoy the challenge and the realism of those tables, especially since they're based on real-life tables. You have the Twilight Zone, you have Star Trek Next Generation. Those tables are in there. I hope we get to see a personal favorite of mine, the Addams Family table. I know that's a hugely requested one, and I have a feeling it's just a matter of time before we see it. So I'm glad to have both of them in my collection. But I guess if a loaded gun was aimed at my head and I was forced to delete one of my games, I would probably keep the Pinball Arcade, just because they are based on real-life tables. And definitely provide, I think, a little bit more of the authentic challenge. But again, Zen Pinball, one of my favorites. When I originally downloaded it, one of my favorite PSN titles I've ever downloaded. Plus, Zen also does an Iron Man table. You can't go wrong with that. So they both have, I think, just tons of pros and very, very few cons. So they're all great in my book. So that will do it in the battle of Zen Pinball versus the Pinball Arcade. But a twist that you didn't see coming. There's actually a third one here on the PSN, not as well known. It's called Pinballistic. And we'll leave you with that. Look at our future review for this one. We'll take a look at this one as well in the very near future. Probably in our PlayStation folder. Like I said, we have some playlists on the main homepage. And check all the videos out. I think they're fun. So again, thanks for tuning in to Game Time. My name is Kyle. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hopefully this kind of helped you out on deciding what tables to get. If you have seen a table on here that you didn't necessarily have already. Yeah. And so thanks for watching, everyone. Take care. Happy gaming.